Okay, so we were talking earlier about the hockey. That was winter time. Did you play in the summertime hockey too, or just in the winter time?
Probably in the summer too.
Did you guys do tobogganing and?
Yeah, we did tobogganing. You saw the pictures in the Brightwood Golf Course when we were adults, right? When we were kids, the Brightwood Golf Course was behind the house.
Yeah.
It had huge hills, and nobody was there. And we knew where the holes were in the fence or how to jump over. And if you waited and there was enough snow, you could easily hop over. And nobody ever said anything.
Yeah.
And we took toboggans and sleighs over, right? And tried to see if we could add new bruises to our body and dismember ourselves.
So you guys did the sledding and the tobogganing. Yeah. Lots of great
Daryl
memories.
Lacence and I, we go up and get on the toboggan and down we go. And you can barely control a toboggan, right? And the sleighs, we'd have 2 sleighs each, one each. We go up with those and they had the little crossbar and you could turn it. And that looked good, but it didn't work worth shit. It didn't matter. You felt like you were in control. We just go flying down. And then when the season started to change and it was approaching spring, then there'd be rocks, so there'd be stuff in there, and then suddenly the sleigh come to a complete stop, but we didn't. And we would just go flying down over the top of the sleigh and do a body slide to the end, right? And then come back up, grab the sleigh, back up you went. We come home, we could go out there for 5 hours. We'd be exhausted and soaked to the bone. Mittens would be soaked and boots would be soaked. And you know how the snow would get all jammed down into the boots. So now when you're walking, it was
Yeah.
you walk, never gave up. We would just keep going. And then finally reality would set in and you'd be bloody well cold as hell. We had snow suits with that sucky nylon, right? But nothing would stick to it, but they weren't that warm. Yeah, so we have good memory. Right in the backyard. Just hop over the fence and off you went.
Who did you get that kind of clothing from? Who was we went to Woodward's.
We weren't partaking in that. Probably from Sears. We had no.
Sears
my mother,
or Eaton's,
my mother was a
I think you mentioned.
seamstress, and she bloody well dressed us, and we shut the hell up.
Yeah.
And she brought it home, and if you didn't like it, that was too damn bad. And do you think we cared? My mother so wished for girls, right? And
Where did you go shopping? Back then it was the big department
Simpson
store.
Sears in Halifax. That was the
Halifax.
bargain store. That was, if they didn't have it, then you didn't get it. Pretty well how it was, right? That's the way I remember.
So you didn't have Army and Navy there.
No, we had no bargain stuff. Sears was the better one. Bargain stuff came.
And what about Eaton's? Did you have an Eaton's?
No, they had too much money.
They're too much money.
You know, Sears had the catalog, stuff went on sale. Eaton's was the next rung up in the ladder. Some people had Eaton's stuff. No, my mother was the bargain hunter.
Back then, Dartmouth was just a bedroom community.
Yeah, there were no stores in Dartmouth hardly.
Just
like the big
a
shopping
drugstore.
centers and that where we blew up the furnace.
Yeah.
That was the Micmac Rotary. Then where the dump used to be, they finally put in the Micmac Mall. That just to say it felt good. Micmac Mall.
Micmac Mall.
Yeah, and it was at the Micmac Indians, right?
Yeah.
And that's where the Micmac song.
Did you have many natives around there?
Natives?
Yeah.
We don't know them. We had the black people.
Black people.
Yeah, Africville, and that was
many people.
End of the Underground Railway.
Were there many black people lived in Dartmouth?
Yep. No, well, they didn't live in Dartmouth. They lived near the dump.
Near the dump.
Where they built the Micmac Mall. They were that's where they were allowed. They were unmolested and they lived there. In Africville and Halifax, that's where they lived.
What did they call it?
Africville.
Africville?
Africville. You Google that, Ted, you'll be shocked to see how bad Canadians can act when you Google Africville.
Wow.
It's a dark page
Yeah.
in Canadian history, much less maritime history. But that was the end of the Underground Railway. When slavery was at its height in the States, they took that railway, and then Nova Scotia, that's where they settled. They were free then.
So how were your parents towards the blacks?
They were equal to everybody else, and if you didn't like that, you got a spanking.
Yeah.
You were brought up, no prejudice. None. It wouldn't be tolerated. None of it was. My mother was belligerent about any of that. There'd be no prejudice in her house, and you got a beating or you got browbeaten. It was just, that's how it was. Okay, Mom.
What school did they go to?
Same public school.
Yeah, so you had in your classroom and...
Yeah, oh yeah.
So
we had a token, 1 or 2 each. Right?
Oh, okay.
So there weren't a lot of them. And I witnessed the death of one, and sorry, I can't remember his name, but I wrote his name was in the photo album. There was quite a few of them out of one family, and they were good musicians, and they were just real good kids, and they were dressed nicely and looked good, probably better than half the other kids in the school, because, you know, they had to be a step above. Lucases. They were the Lucases, the Lucas boys. Not your Lucas, but Lucases.
Yeah.
And they were nice guys. Those were very nice kids. Very nice. I remember them very positively, right? They carried themselves well.
And
Natives, never heard of it.
how many children were in a classroom back
30.
then? 30?
30 and up, 32 on a bad day.
32 in a bad day. So, do you remember any of your teachers?
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's discuss some of the...
Oh, we had the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
We had British school, and we talked about Slayter, the principal of...
You went to public school?
Yeah, of course, that's all there is. We didn't go to Catholic school.
Yeah.
No, we went to... They were good schools. You know, we had good teachers, and there were good schools, and good memories and bad memories, and we reigned. No teacher could get to me. We punished them completely, right? In junior high school, that's the one there was a militant you could strap in those days. And if the students didn't behave and they were not following the rules, then you went in the hallway and you strapped them. And you hurt their hands so they were red or almost bruised. And if that didn't work, then you went down to the principal and complained to him. So we had one teacher who was really bad. We called her the sergeant major. And she didn't tolerate anything from anybody, and that strap was just flying all the time, right? And we got tired of it. And in those days, we were in, like, at that time, would have been in grade 9 or 8, I forget which. And if you were 9A, you were the bright one. But if you were 9F, that was the failures. So everybody was graded like that. So 9A, B, C, D, E, and F, right? I think I was in 9D, D or C, I don't remember which. I didn't want to be in with the A kids, that's for sure. And don't worry, I didn't qualify for A kid stature anyway. So this woman, who was that teacher, and she was the fat little ugly thing, right, with the fat ankles, and you had every reason to hate her. So we all decided silently that this woman was no longer going to be our teacher. So she went out in the hallway and she was strapping some guy and acting weird, right, out of control. While she was out there, we changed the whole room. We changed the desk, all the chairs, and we put it backwards. And then when she walked in the door, her desk was at this end. We were there, and we all just sat there like this. She freaked out completely and went running down the hall like a 5-year-old screaming, "Ah!" And she went to see Slayter, right? And Slayter was a special guy. He just was. There was nobody else like Slayter. Slayter would sit like this and go, "Well, I don't know. Today I think, but by God, he could run a school, I'll tell you. He may have sat and talked to you like this, but you feared the man because he had all the power. He knew exactly what he was doing, right?" So she came back. We never heard anything. Nothing else came of that. That wasn't good. So then one guy went and bought a pair of surplus army boots. When 3 days went by, and he put those on her desk. Where her desk was at the front of the school class, right? She freaked out, went running down the hall with those. We go, okay, now we're getting somewhere. Right, now we're getting somewhere. And I don't know who did it, but they jacked the desk up and sawed 2 legs off and then lowered it back down on the 2 legs on the desk. So, of course, when she was sat down and put her weight on the desk, it collapsed. Out the door she went, down the hall she went screaming, and that's the last we saw of her.